The rescue, a shocking discovery. The cold wind of the uncharted planet whipped against the hull of the Endeavour, a lone human exploration vessel hovering just above a rocky, mist-shrouded surface. Captain Ethan Drake stood at the viewport, his sharp eyes scanning the barren terrain below. The planet, codenamed 09, was untouched by human footprints, a new mystery in the far reaches of known space. Suddenly, a faint flicker caught his attention, a movement barely visible through the thick fog. "Did you see that?" Ethan asked, turning sharply. "See what, Captain?" Lieutenant Mira Jensen replied from the control panel, her voice steady but alert. "That something down there," Ethan said. "Looks like a figure." The ship's sensors tried to penetrate. The mist, but interference, scrambled the readings. Ethan's gut told him someone or something was out there. "Prepare a retrieval team," Ethan ordered. "We're going down." The Endeavour lowered a small shuttle through the haze. Ethan, Mira, and Engineer Cole Mason suited up for a close approach. The rocky landscape was jagged and unforgiving, with twisted trees and strange glowing fungi casting eerie shadows. As the shuttle touched down, Ethan's heart pounded. The figure was real. There, lying unconscious against a boulder, was a woman. But she was unlike any human Ethan had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly, with an almost metallic sheen that caught the dim light. Her hair floated around her head like dark water, and delicate, intricate patterns glowed softly along her arms, symbols that seemed to pulse with quiet energy. She was breathing, shallow but steady. Yet her eyes remained closed, and her chest rose and fell in slow, fragile rhythms. "Is she hurt?" Mira asked, kneeling beside the figure. Ethan checked her pulse. "Weak, but stable. We need to get her on board, now." Cole scanned her with a portable medical device, the screen flashing warnings. "I don't recognize her physiology. Nothing matches our database. This is new." Without hesitation, Ethan nodded. "We don't leave anyone behind." The crew carefully lifted her onto the shuttle, wrapping her in a thermal blanket. As the shuttle ascended back toward the Endeavour, Ethan stared down at her pale face. Why was she here? Was she alone? Was she even alien? Back on the ship, medical officers took over, but none could awaken her. She didn't respond to stimuli. Her breathing was irregular, and the glowing symbols on her skin flickered faintly. Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to her than met the eye. Hours passed. The crew was restless, whispering theories. Some wanted to alert the Galactic Council immediately. Others feared contamination or a trap. "Captain, we need a plan," Mira said, her eyes cautious. Ethan looked at the strange woman again. Then from the corner of the medical bay, a soft noise, a faint humming, began to fill the air. The glowing symbols on her arm pulsed faster, brighter. "Did you hear that?" Ethan asked, stepping closer. Before anyone could answer, the woman's eyelids fluttered open. Her eyes were a deep violet, filled with confusion and fear. Ethan's breath caught. "Who are you?" he whispered, reaching out gently. She didn't answer. Instead, she stared at him with a silent intensity, her gaze piercing. Then, slowly, she moved her hand and revealed a delicate bracelet etched with the same glowing symbols. Ethan's heart skipped. What did it mean? Suddenly the ship's lights flickered, alarms blared, and a low rumble shook the Endeavour. "Report!" Ethan barked. "Unknown energy surge detected," the technician called out. "It's coming from her." The woman's eyes widened. She reached out, her hand trembling, as if trying to stop something unseen. Ethan felt a cold dread. This wasn't just a rescue. It was the start of something much bigger. The screen flashed red. "Security breach detected. Unknown signals incoming." "Prepare for lockdown," Ethan ordered. This might be a trap. The alien woman, now conscious but silent, looked at Ethan and whispered words he didn't understand. but the urgency was clear. The Endeavour trembled. As strange lights flashed outside the windows, illuminating the dark sky in colors no human had ever seen. Ethan clenched his fists. He had brought her here thinking she was injured. But now, everything was uncertain. The planet, the woman, the symbols, they were all part of a secret he was only beginning to uncover, and whatever it was watching. Cliffhanger. Ethan notices the glowing symbol on her wrist pulse rhythmically, matching the strange lights outside. Was it a warning, or something far more dangerous? The enigma unfolds. Secrets beneath the surface. The Endeavour hummed quietly in orbit above 09, but inside the ship, the atmosphere was tense and uneasy. Captain Ethan Drake paced the narrow corridor outside the medical bay, his mind racing, with questions he had no answers for. Inside, the alien woman, whom they had taken to calling Lyra, rested silently. Despite the advanced medical technology at their disposal, no one had managed to rouse her fully. Her body was fragile, yet the strange glowing symbols across her skin pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat of their own. Lieutenant Mira Jensen approached, her face etched with worry. "Captain, the crew's starting to get nervous. They're whispering about quarantine protocols and whether Lyra is some kind of biological weapon." Ethan shook his head. "I don't think she's a threat. Not yet. We need to understand her first." "But the sensors," Mira said, "they're picking up unusual energy patterns around her. Nothing we've seen before." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "That symbol on her wrist, have we found out anything more about it?" Mira shook her head. "Nothing concrete. It's definitely alien tech. The patterns shift subtly, like they're responding to something." Ethan nodded slowly, remembering the strange lights outside the ship, their colors swirling in unnatural hues. "Keep monitoring. And I want a full scan of the ship for any other anomalies. We can't afford surprises." The ship's corridors were quiet as Ethan made his way to the control room, the weight of command pressing down on him. The crew's unease was growing, and with good reason. None of them knew what they had truly brought aboard. As Ethan entered, Cole Mason, the ship's engineer, looked up from his console. "Captain, I've been running diagnostics all over the place. There are weird energy spikes near the medical bay. I think whatever Lyra has is interfering with the ship's systems." Ethan frowned. "Could it be intentional?" "Hard to say," Cole replied, "but the energy signatures are unlike anything in our database. It's almost like a living circuit, changing and adapting." Mira joined them, holding a small device in her hand. "Captain, the translator algorithms are working, but only partially. We managed to pick up a few sounds from Lyra during her brief moments of consciousness, but they don't match any known language." Ethan leaned forward. "Can we isolate any patterns? Anything that might hint at what she's trying to say?" Mira hesitated. There was one phrase repeated several times. It sounded like Sithara. "I don't know what it means." Ethan's mind raced. Could it be a name? A place? A warning? Before they could speculate further, the ship jolted suddenly, throwing them off balance. "Report!" Ethan barked. Cole's fingers flew over the console. "Power fluctuations across multiple systems. Something's messing with our controls." Mira checked the communications panel. "External signals are spiking. I'm picking up bursts of data on frequencies we don't use." Ethan's heart pounded. "Is it coming from Lyra?" "Could be. Or something responding to her presence," Cole said grimly. Back in the medical bay, Lyra stirred again. This time, her eyes opened wider, but instead of confusion, there was a fierce determination. Ethan entered cautiously. "Lyra, can you hear me?" She turned her head slowly, focusing on him. Then, with unexpected strength, she pushed herself up and pointed toward a hidden panel in the wall, one that Ethan had never seen before. "What is that?" he asked. Lyra's glowing wrist symbols flared brightly, and a soft humming filled the room. The panel slid open, revealing a small chamber filled with ancient-looking devices and holographic symbols. The air inside smelled faintly of ozone and something metallic. Ethan stepped inside, feeling an electric charge prickling his skin. This must be connected to her people. Mira and Cole followed, equally fascinated and cautious. Ethan studied the holograms, maps, symbols, and star charts projected into the air. Among them, the symbol on Lyra's wrist appeared again, centered in a pattern that looked like a ritual. The circle. "What do you make of this?" Ethan asked Mira. She frowned. "It looks like a cultural artifact, maybe a ritual site. But why would it be hidden on the ship?" Before anyone could answer, Lyra's eyes locked onto the projection. She reached out, touching one of the symbols. Suddenly, a wave of images flooded Ethan's mind. Flashes of alien landscapes, starships, and strange ceremonies where glowing symbols were passed from one person to another. His head spun as the visions overwhelmed him, and he stumbled back, gasping. Later, in the ship's conference room, Ethan gathered the senior officers. The mystery was deepening, and it was clear this wasn't a simple rescue mission anymore. "We have to consider that Lyra's presence here is part of a greater tradition, something we don't understand yet," Ethan said. Mira nodded. "And whatever it is, it's affecting the ship's systems and possibly the crew's behavior," Cole added. "I've noticed a pattern. The energy spikes happen mostly when Lyra is near the hidden chamber. It's as if the ship itself is responding to her." Questions buzzed around the room. Could Lyra be part of an ancient alien rite? A secret no one was meant to witness? Ethan's mind returned to the glowing symbol on her wrist. It pulsed like a heartbeat, synchronized with the flickering lights outside. "Keep monitoring her closely," Ethan ordered, "and we need to find out more about Sithara, whatever that means." That night, Ethan sat alone in his quarters, staring at the symbol he'd asked Medical to project, its faint glow unsettling. His communicator beeped. It was Mira. "Captain, you need to see this," she said urgently. Ethan hurried to the control room. Mira pointed at the monitor. Sensors picked up a transmission buried in the cosmic background noise. "It's faint, but it's definitely a message, encrypted and ancient." Ethan's eyes widened. "From 09? "Yes." "And it repeats the name Scythera." They decrypted more, revealing fragments of an old story. A people bound by ancient customs, where rituals were more than tradition. They were survival. Ethan swallowed hard. "We're not just observers here. We're part of this story now." Suddenly, the ship's lights dimmed and flickered again. Alarms blared. "Power failure in the main engine room," Cole shouted. Ethan ran to the engine control deck. Smoke curled from damaged circuits. "Someone or something is sabotaging us," Cole said grimly. Ethan's eyes scanned the crew. "Isolate all personnel. No one leaves their stations." The ship trembled as systems failed one by one. In the chaos, Ethan's gaze caught Lyra standing silently near the medical bay, her eyes glowing with quiet sorrow. "Why?" Ethan whispered, more to himself than her. Her voice, barely audible, echoed in his mind. "Trust. Test. Union." Ethan's heart tightened. Had he truly rescued an injured stranger? Or had he unknowingly stepped into an ancient rite, a secret marriage ritual designed to bind him to her people? The Endeavour was no longer just a ship. It was a battleground of cultures, secrets, and survival. And Ethan knew this was only the beginning. Cliffhanger. Lyra approaches a hidden chamber on the ship, one no one knew existed, her glowing symbols, illuminating the way. What will she reveal? And can Ethan trust her? Secrets in the shadows. Trust and betrayal. The Endeavour was tense, like a living organism holding its breath. Power flickered in the dim corridors, and the hum of the ship was punctuated by quiet whispers of concern. Captain Ethan Drake stood near the medical bay, watching Lyra as she moved with purposeful steps toward a part of the ship no one had known existed. the hidden chamber she had revealed the day before. Her glowing symbols pulsed softly, casting a pale light on the metallic walls. The faint hum from her wrist synced with the ship's subtle vibrations, as if the Endeavour itself recognized her presence. Ethan's mind raced. He had trusted her since the moment he found her unconscious on that alien planet. But now doubts crept in. What if the ritual she carried was a trap? What if it was more than a cultural tradition? What if it was a form of control? "Lyra," Ethan called softly as he approached. She stopped and turned, her violet eyes meeting his. "Captain," she said, her voice steady but carrying a quiet urgency, "I must show you." Without waiting for a response, she moved toward the chamber. Ethan followed, with Mira and Cole close behind. Inside, the air was thick with electric energy. The walls were covered with alien runes and holographic projections, some flickering like ghostly memories. Lyra reached out and touched a central console. Instantly, a holographic figure appeared, a tall, regal alien woman adorned with similar glowing symbols. The figure spoke in a language unknown, but the translator activated beneath the projection. "This is Sithara," Lyra explained, her voice barely above a whisper. "Our ancient leader. This chamber is sacred. It holds the secrets of our people, our bonds, our survival." Ethan stared at the image, feeling a strange mixture of awe and unease. "What bonds?" he asked. Lyra's eyes darkened. "The ritual you witnessed, the one you thought was an injury, is our way of choosing a union, a bond that ties two souls together. It is both sacred and binding." Mira frowned. "You mean marriage?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, but more than that. It is a union of trust, survival, and alliance." Ethan's heart tightened. "And me? Why was I chosen?" Lyra looked down, her glowing wrist pulsing. "Because you showed kindness. Because you saw me not as a stranger, but as someone who needed help." The weight of her words hung between them. Back in the conference room, Ethan gathered the senior officers. "We're dealing with something far more complex than first contact," Ethan said. "This ritual binds individuals in ways we don't fully understand." Cole rubbed his chin. "But the sabotage, the power failures, is that connected? Or is someone else on the ship?" Mira shook her head. "I ran a background check. On all crew, no signs of mutiny or sabotage." Ethan's brow furrowed. "Then what's causing this?" Just then, the ship shuddered violently, throwing them off balance. "Emergency! Unknown force detected near the ship," the communications officer announced. Ethan grabbed the console. "Show me." Outside the viewport, a massive vessel loomed, unlike anything the crew had seen before. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, shifting colors and patterns that mirrored Lyra's glowing symbols. "Is that their ship?" Mira asked. Lyra nodded slowly. "They are called the Shalkar. My people are part of them." Ethan's mind reeled. "Why are they here? To take you back?" Lyra's eyes filled with sorrow. "No, to reclaim what is theirs." That night the crew gathered for a briefing. Ethan's voice was steady, but his mind was racing. "We are caught in a conflict between cultures. The Shalkar want Lyra back. They view her union with me as a betrayal," Mira added, "and their technology is advanced enough to threaten the Endeavour." Cole looked grim. "If they board, we could lose everything." Ethan took a deep breath. "We have to protect her, and ourselves, but more importantly, we need to understand what this union means. Is it a bond of peace or a weapon?" In the quiet of the medical bay, Lyra sat beside Ethan. "I'm sorry," she said softly, "for everything you've been thrown into." Ethan shook his head. "No, you're not a problem. You're part of this now." She reached out, her glowing hand resting lightly on his. "The ritual is not just a bond. It is a promise. A future." Ethan's heart beat faster. Suddenly, a new message pulsed through the ship's comms, a chilling broadcast in the alien tongue. "Who is that?" Ethan asked. Lyra's eyes darkened. "It is the Shalkar leader. They are demanding my return." Ethan stood tall. "Then we fight, not just for survival, but for trust." The ship prepared for the inevitable confrontation. In the shadows, secrets waited to be uncovered, and Ethan knew that the greatest battle would be within, testing the limits of loyalty, belief, and the meaning of family. Cliffhanger. As the Shalkar vessel closes in, Ethan receives a cryptic warning from Lyra. "Not all who come to claim me are enemies." Who can they truly trust? Allies in the shadows, the truth revealed. The Endeavour floated silently in the vast blackness of space, the looming Shalkar vessel casting an eerie shadow across its hull. The distant stars seemed to hold their breath as two worlds prepared to collide, or perhaps to unite. Captain Ethan Drake stood at the bridge, eyes fixed on the shimmering alien ship. The symbols pulsating across its surface mirrored the glowing marks on Lyra's skin. They were more than signs. They were a language of power and connection. Beside him, Lieutenant Mira Jensen's voice broke the heavy silence. "Captain, I've been analyzing the last transmission. There's a hidden layer beneath the threat, a plea." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "A plea from the Shalkar?" Mira nodded. "Yes, it's encrypted, but the message hints at a faction within the Shalkar who oppose the leader's demands. They believe Lyra's union with you might be the key to peace." Ethan felt a flicker of hope. "Can we reach them?" he asked. Mira hesitated. "I'm working on it." Meanwhile, in the dim glow of the medical bay, Lyra sat quietly, her eyes distant. Ethan approached, careful not to disturb the fragile calm. "Lyra," he said softly, "what do you know about this faction?" She looked up, her violet eyes shimmering, with a mixture of fear and determination. "The Shalkar are not all one," she explained. "There are those who believe in old ways, conquest and control. But there are others who want change. They see the ritual not as a chain, but as a bridge." Ethan absorbed her words. "So, this union, it could be a way to bring peace?" Lyra nodded slowly. "If we survive long enough to prove it." Back on the bridge, the crew worked tirelessly to send a coded message to the Shalkar's dissident faction. Minutes stretched into hours. Then finally, a response arrived. A voice crackled over the comms, calm, measured, and surprisingly human in tone. "This is Commander Talia of the Shalkar Resistance. We do not seek war, we seek understanding." Ethan's heart quickened. "Commander Talia, we are willing to talk. We want to find a way to end this conflict." Talia's voice was steady. "Then meet us at the neutral station, orbiting Zeta 12. There we can discuss terms." The crew prepared the Endeavour for the journey, but tension remained thick in the air. In the quiet moments, Ethan and Lyra shared their fears and hopes. "I never imagined I'd be part of something like this," Ethan confessed. Lyra smiled faintly. "Neither did I. But sometimes the universe chooses us for reasons beyond our understanding." As the ship jumped into hyperspace, the weight of destiny pressed on them all. At the neutral station, Ethan and a small delegation met Commander Talia and her allies. The station was a relic of a forgotten era, abandoned and silent, yet perfect for delicate negotiations. Talia was striking, tall, with silver hair and eyes that held both sorrow and strength. "We've watched your actions closely, Captain Drake," she said. "Your willingness to protect Lyra has challenged our beliefs." Ethan nodded. "We want peace, but we need to understand your people." Talia gestured toward a holographic map of the Shalkar territories. "Our leader fears the Union will weaken us. He believes in domination." She paused. "But we believe in survival through unity. As talks progressed, Ethan sensed a deeper mystery beneath the political struggle. He asked Talia about the ancient ritual. "It's more than marriage," she explained. "It's a bond that merges life forces, memories and strength. It creates a connection that lasts beyond death." Lyra reached out, touching Ethan's hand. "We call it the Sithara bond." Ethan felt a warmth spread through him. "But it's risky," Talia warned. "If broken, it can destroy both parties." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. "We're under attack!" a guard shouted. The opposing faction had discovered their meeting. Chaos erupted as security forces clashed. Ethan and Talia exchanged a grim look. "Time to see if the bond holds," she said. In the midst of battle, Ethan and Lyra fought side by side, their connection deepening. The glowing symbols on Lyra's skin flared, and Ethan felt strength surge within him. Together, they turned the tide, protecting the fragile hope of peace. After the fight, Ethan and Talia regrouped. "The leader won't stop," Talia said, "but now the resistance has proof that unity is possible." Ethan nodded. "Then we fight, not just for survival, but for a future." Back on the Endeavour, as the ship set course for home, Ethan reflected on the journey. He looked at Lyra, now awake and vibrant. "This bond, it's more than ritual, it's a lesson," Lyra smiled. "That even in darkness, trust can light the way." Cliffhanger. As the Endeavour leaves the station, a hidden signal alerts Ethan. A secret message from the Shalkar leader. The real battle is yet to come. The hidden threat, shadows of betrayal. The Endeavour sliced through the dark vacuum of space, leaving the neutral station and the shattered remnants of fragile peace behind. Yet within the crew, unease gnawed at the edges of hope. The victory at the station was bittersweet, proof that unity could exist, but also a reminder of the deep fractures still tearing the Shalkar apart. Captain Ethan Drake stood alone in the dimly lit command deck, staring at the starfield ahead. His mind churned as a strange, encrypted message pulsed faintly on the ship's console. The sender, the Shalkar leader himself. The message was brief but chilling. "You have made a grave mistake. The bond you cherish will be your undoing. The true war has only just begun." Ethan felt a cold weight settle in his chest. The leader's reach was longer and darker than they had imagined. Meanwhile, in the ship's common area, Lyra sat quietly, the glow of her symbols dimmer than usual. Mira approached her cautiously. "Lyra, you've been quiet since the message came in. What's wrong?" Lyra looked up, her violet eyes shadowed by doubt. "The leader's warning. It is not just a threat. There are secrets about the ritual I have yet to share. Secrets that could change everything." Ethan joined them, his voice firm but gentle. "Then we need to hear them." Lyra took a deep breath. "The Sithara bond connects more than just souls. It can bind minds, sharing memories, feelings, even control. If misused, it can become a weapon." Mira's eyes widened. "A weapon? Against whom?" Lyra's gaze fell. "Against those who break the bond." Back on the bridge, Cole was analyzing ship systems. "Captain, I'm picking up strange readings from the engine core. Power fluctuations like the sabotage episodes we had before." Ethan frowned. "Could it be another attack?" Cole nodded grimly. "Either that, or something inside the ship is malfunctioning, or worse." Suddenly, the ship jolted violently, alarms screaming. "Damage to the core," Cole shouted. "We're losing power fast." In the chaos, Ethan barked orders, trying to stabilize the ship. "Everyone, to your stations. We're under attack from inside." Lyra's glowing symbols flared wildly as she moved toward the engine room. "I can help," she said, voice urgent. "The bond may be the key." In the engine room, the crew found unexpected sabotage, delicate devices hidden in the power conduits, disrupting the core's stability. Mira carefully examined one. "These devices are designed to sever connections, cut power and communications. Ethan's mind raced. Who could have planted these? There's no sign of enemy boarding. Lyra stepped forward, eyes glowing fiercely. Not enemies outside, a traitor within. Tension erupted among the crew as suspicion spread like wildfire. Ethan gathered them in the main hall. We have a saboteur on board, someone working for the Shalkar leader. The room fell silent. Mira's voice broke the stillness. We need to find them before it's too late. Ethan nodded. Agreed. We'll start with a full security scan. No one leaves their quarters. As the crew obeyed, Ethan pulled Lyra aside. Do you know who it could be? Lyra shook her head slowly. There are those who see me as a traitor, some who fear the bond and want to break it. Ethan's heart ached with uncertainty. The security scans revealed something chilling, a hidden transmitter, cleverly disguised, linked to a communication frequency only the Shalkar leader's faction used. More shocking, the signal originated from the ship's communications officer. Nearer, Ethan's jaw tightened. He confronted Nearer privately. Nearer, why? She looked away, eyes haunted. I was loyal once, but when I learned the true cost of the bond, I feared what it would do to us all. Ethan's voice softened. You're risking everything. Neera's voice trembled. I'm trying to save us from a fate worse than war. Despite her betrayal, Neera's actions halted the sabotage just in time. The engine core stabilized, but trust on the Endeavour was fractured. Later, Ethan sat with Lyra, their bond stronger after the crisis. We have enemies on all sides, Ethan said quietly. But together we're stronger. Lyra smiled faintly. The bond is not just a ritual, it's hope. Cliffhanger. Just as the Endeavour charts a course home, an unexpected distress signal floods the comms. A human colony under mysterious attack, with a horrifying revelation waiting in the shadows. The bond beyond stars. A new dawn, the Endeavour cut through the vast emptiness of space, the weight of the recent betrayals and battles pressing on the crew. But now, a new call tore through the ship's comms. Urgent, desperate. Mayday, Mayday. This is Colony Ares on Zeta 9, under attack. Unknown assailants. Civilians in danger. Please respond. Captain Ethan Drake didn't hesitate. Plot. A course to Zeta 9, maximum speed. As the ship accelerated toward the colony, tension buzzed like static through the bridge. Mira leaned toward Ethan. The attack. It's not like any we've seen. No known weapon signatures. Lyra touched Ethan's arm. Something else is behind this, something dark. The Endeavour arrived to find the colony under siege. Shattered buildings, fires burning, and terrified survivors huddled in the ruins. Ethan's heart clenched at the sight. Deploy rescue teams immediately. We'll hold off the attackers. But as the rescue teams moved in, the attackers vanished, shadows dissolving into the smoke. In the chaos, Lyra's eyes glowed fiercely. The attackers are not physical, she said. They're mental projections. Ethan frowned. Mental projections, Lyra explained. The Shalkar leader has found a way to weaponize fear itself, using the bond's dark side to invade minds, to break the will. A terrified survivor approached Ethan. They come in our dreams, steal our memories, leave us empty. Ethan felt the weight of despair but clenched his fists. We have to stop this. Back on the Endeavour, Ethan and Lyra devised a plan. If the bond could unite minds, perhaps it could also shield them. Lyra began the ritual, linking herself with Ethan in a deep Sithara bond, one that would merge their minds and strength, like never before. Inside their shared consciousness, a storm raged. Fragments of memories, emotions, and fears swirled. Ethan saw through Lyra's eyes, felt her pain, and she his. They were no longer two, but one. With this union, they accessed the source of the mental attacks, a dark node hidden deep within the Shalkar homeworld. Ethan and Lyra projected their combined will across the void. The node pulsed, resisted, but the bond's light was stronger. On the homeworld, the Shalkar leader sensed the intrusion. "This cannot be," he growled. "The bond, it is a weapon after all." But it was too late. The node shattered, and with it, the grip of fear on the colonies dissolved. Back on Zeta-9, survivors awoke from their nightmare, memories returning, hope rekindled. Ethan looked at Lyra, their bond glowing brighter than ever. "We stopped the darkness," Ethan said softly. Lyra smiled. "Because we faced it together." The Shalkar leader's power waned as the resistance grew stronger, inspired by the bond of unity between human and alien. Commander Talia's faction stepped forward, ready to rebuild a future of peace. Months later, the Endeavour docked at Earth's orbit. Ethan addressed the crew. "We've seen fear, betrayal, and darkness, but we've also seen trust, courage, and unity." He paused, eyes shining. "The Sithara bond taught us that connection is our greatest strength, not just between individuals, but between species, cultures, and worlds." Lyra stood beside him. "May this bond be a symbol that even in the vast unknown, we are never truly alone." Final lesson. The story closed with a message for all. True strength lies not in power or dominance, but in trust, understanding, and the courage to connect beyond differences. In a universe vast and mysterious, humanity's greatest hope is its capacity to unite, to love, and to overcome darkness together.